Some inclement weather and some seasonal illnesses kept us out for the last half of 2025, but it is now 2026, and we are back here on the Bluefield University Coaches Show. My first guest on this week's show, head women's basketball coach Jake Wright. Coach, thanks for rejoining us back here on the show, but we'll jump right in. We'll start with your week last week, a huge week.
Yep.
You pick up two big conference wins, one on the road, one at home. What did that stretch last week tell you about where your group is right now in conference play?
It was just a very proud moment for all of us, just to see the growth of our team. We all knew coming into this year that first semester was going to be a tough road. Just scheduling wise, we went out and scheduled a bunch of Division IIs, Division I, and just everybody, top teams in the conference. And we really tested ourselves the first semester. And we wanted to be battle hardened, ready to rock and roll this second semester. And I think it had a lot to do with what we did last week. It was, the kids just did a wonderful job of doing everything we asked of them, really sticking to the game plans every game, and just really growing into what they knew they were capable of doing.
Right. So a big part of that stretch last week was your defense.
Yes.
You guys really locked in on defense. You held your opponent under 60 points, or just over 60 points per game over your last five.
Yep.
What's that key been to your defensive success? How important has that end of the floor been?
Oh, absolutely. It started in. We brought some guest speakers in over Christmas break with my father, and we really doubled down on the defensive end. We didn't change anything. We just brought some more intensity, brought some more little things to us defensively. We've extended our pressure a little bit, started trying to speed some people up. We got some bodies back after Christmas that I think has helped us a lot, be able to be a little more athletic, a little more guard-oriented. And, we've just been really able to dig deep. We're doing a great job of walling up on the defensive end. People like Anna Smith and Gabriela Rosado and Lauren Bragg and Elle Gunner and all of them just really doing a great job of walling up in the paint and making people hit tough shots over our bigs. And I think that's been a lot of help to us defensively. But I think it's just a passion and a want to. We've seemed to find a different gear, and I've really enjoyed watching it.
So we'll stay defensively. You mentioned Anna Smith.
Yes.
She had a humongous game here in the Dome
yes.
Saturday. Correct me if I'm wrong, 8 points, maybe 10, 11 rebounds,
Yep.
but she played pretty much the whole second half off of the bench for you.
Yep.
What have you seen from her development, and how has her growth really helped your team during the stretch?
It's been tremendous. It's been a great addition for us after semester, just kind of working through that first semester, trying to get used to everything, trying to get through everything. And then, for her Saturday, her biggest statistic's not a real statistic, and it's just affecting the shots in the paint. It seemed like every time that Truett was about to get a layup or about to get a shot they wanted, she came out of nowhere with them long arms and that high vertical and just got in the way and didn't get a block, but just affected the shot. And it's not a stat, but it's a great stat as a coach, and you want to see. But she did a phenomenal job of just really anchoring our defense, rebounding the ball great, making some easy buckets inside off of second chance garbage points, which is huge for us. And then just, it seems like defensively with her in the paint, our guards and our other bigs have responded about maybe extending our pressure a little bit, being able to play a little bit more riskier on defense, which we've asked them to do, and then feeling confident enough with her behind them to make that play. So it's just been very impressed with her growth, and I'm excited for the future for her.
Right. So now we'll move, offensively. Maddie Day been a really big spark in your offense.
Oh, yeah.
Double figures in 3 of her last 5 games. 2 of those 3, 20-plus.
Yes.
She comes into Bluefield this year as a junior college transfer. How has she really embraced that role, and what has she brought to your team offensively?
Maddie's done everything the right way from day one. And that's what we love about Maddie. We always knew Maddie could score the ball, and we always knew Maddie could shoot the ball, but Maddie has grown as a basketball player this year. Her defense is off the charts for us right now. She has really amped it up. She's just doing a phenomenal job for us and growing her game and being confident. And that's the thing for her is we've really tried to preach to her that she's not just a shooter. She's not just this. She's not just that. She's a basketball player, and she can do multiple roles for us. And she's really embraced that roles. Going back to Saturday, Maddie had some of the biggest rebounds we had Saturday, just flying in there, willing to throw her body around, getting undercut on a couple of them to make an extra rebound play. And then defensively, she's one of those risk takers for us, and that's what we love about her. She's willing to go out there, cut a pass off, try to make a play, and she's doing a phenomenal job of that for us.
us.
So now we'll look forward, Coach. You move into now sort of, the second half of your season. You get deeper and deeper into conference play as that conference tournament reaches near. What are the biggest points of emphasis to your team as you try to keep building momentum?
Just stay in course. Just every day we're going to get a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. Every game we're going to get a little bit better. And it's just trusting the process that we're not just building this for a year. We're building this for a lifetime. And I think the girls have really done an amazing job of really buying into that, all 15 of them really coming together and understanding this is team-oriented. We're an amazing group of young ladies right now. The motto is be a bundle of sticks, not just one stick. A twig you can snap real easy, but you bundle them together, it becomes something really strong. And right now we're really inching our way to being a really good bundle of sticks. And it's a great group to be around. And I think we're heading in the right direction. We just got to keep course and keep understanding what we got to do as a team.
Awesome. Coach, we appreciate you taking some time. I know it's a little busy this time of year, but appreciate you sitting down with us. Women's basketball is on the road at Johnson Wednesday evening. Go check that out, and we'll move forward here with our next guest here on the Bluefield University. Welcome back, episode 4, Bluefield University Coaches Show, and our next guest is, while technically not a coach on his official job title, he is a coach. He's the coach of our athletic department. It's Vice President of Student Development Athletics, Corey Mullins. Corey, thanks for joining us here on the Bluefield University Coaches Show. Absolutely. So we'll start now looking back at the fall semester that was. You look back on that fall semester, what really stands out to you about the first half of the year for Bluefield Athletics?
Yeah, just a great celebration of the talent that's represented on this campus. You think about our women's volleyball program, overcoming some adversity and some injuries throughout the year, but representing the university well at the AAC tournament there in November. You think about football season, winning 3 of our last 4, including an exciting win over Pikeville. In week 6, I think, or 7 of the season. Obviously being there to celebrate our wins and just celebrate our athletes on campus, but also getting a chance to see our athletes interact in other areas off the field and the court of competition.
So we'll move forward into the growth of this athletic department. We've seen a lot of new and exciting things happening across the department. New partnerships like we've seen with Food City, new programs gaining traction, whether that's new coaches, new players stepping up. What are some of the developments you're most proud of so far this year?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of them. I would say the new coaches stands out as number one, right? So we got Coach Joseph Cooper with men's basketball, Cade Mullins with women's soccer, and now Ryan McCarty with men's soccer. So just bringing new, fresh perspectives to campus, bringing you alongside to oversee communications. Jared Porter's done a great job and has been instrumental in some of those partnerships you mentioned. Developing those relationships with our community is important. And so just the new faces, whenever you get a chance to hire somebody new, it just breathes life into your program, and certainly excited to go to work with all those people every day.
Sure. So I want to move on now to culture. It's such a big part of athletics nowadays. How would you describe the culture right now for Bluefield University, Bluefield Athletics? How do you continue to build that culture?
Sure. Well, I think in a lot of ways we are trying to move the needle to where Bluefield Athletics is in full support and reinforcement of the mission of Bluefield University, right? Bluefield University is a unique school. It's a beautiful place here in the middle of the Appalachian Mountains, and we were developed and founded for a mission to offer education both in the classroom, but also spiritual development and professional development, character development. And so I want Bluefield Athletics to be an extension of all of that. And so number one, it's bringing the right people to the table, bringing coaches that are on point, on mission with that. But secondly, it's just recruiting students who have a similar desire. Yeah, you want to compete and you want to work hard as an athlete, but you also want to grow. You also see the big picture. Life is more than just what the scoreboard says at the end of the night. And so we're just trying to move the needle and try to build a culture where our student athletes not only get a chance to compete, but also a chance to learn some life lessons that are going to help them out down the road.
Right. So next, I kind of want to pick apart your job title a little bit. Not only are you in athletics, but you're in student development as well. Tell me a little bit about the student athlete experience here on Bluefield. How have you seen that continue to grow and evolve this year, whether it's on the court, off the court, on the field, off the field?
Sure. Well, there's two things that stand out. Number one, I feel like Kristen Parker, our Dean of Students, and Jocelyn Evans, our coordinator of student activities, they've done a great job of surrounding our athletic events with interaction with our students. So, we're a smaller school, right? We're not drawing tens of thousands of people to every one of our contests. And so we have to be our own support and our own energy at times. And so they've done a great job of making our our athletic activities a big part of our student activities. And so it's fun to see the community come together. Another area I think that adds to the student experience is what you do with your department in helping the students speak into the sports communication piece, whether it's capturing film and posting on social media and just keeping the world up to date on what's going on here in Bluefield. And so, it's definitely one thing to come here for your sport, but I think you get a lot of different experiences from the student athlete experience, overall experience that we have here by getting involved in athletics and supporting it in some major ways. And so excited to see that develop. I think partnerships is a big part of that, getting some sponsorships to help student activities and help add to the environment of game day is an important piece. But then also just getting out in the community and letting people here locally know about what's going on here at Bluefield and the athletes that we're serving, to hopefully draw in some more community support.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. We'll move here. Last question while we have you. We turn the page now into the spring semester. What excites you most about what's ahead now for Bluefield Athletics?
Well, there are a few strategic things that we're looking into. Number one, I'm thankful we've had some partnerships and some local foundations come to the table and help us with some of our initiatives. There's going to be some upgrades and renovations here to the Dome Gymnasium, which is going to be huge for not only our student athletes but our fan support. So I'm looking forward to walking through that journey and also just identifying and engaging with alumni, I think is a huge part of that development piece, that advancement piece. Obviously we're looking forward to our spring sport schedule as basketballs finish up, men's volleyball gets going, baseball and softball will get going. Hopefully the weather perks up for us a little bit early and we can get a full season in with those two sports. But then also, track and field and golf are two other sports that we want to highlight and really excited to see their seasons come. So just a chance to get out there and continue to support Bluefield athletics and Bluefield student athletes through the spring.
Awesome, for sure. Thank you for taking some time out of your schedule to sit down with us, and be sure to check out Corey on game days on the Rams Digital Sports Network. But with further ado, we'll send it over to our third and final guest of episode 4 of the Bluefield University Coach Show.
Go Rams!
Back on episode 4 of the Bluefield University Coaches Show. It is our final guest of episode 4. All the way from women's soccer, it's Cade Mullins. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Of course, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, this is your first year leading the BU women's soccer program. Now that you've had some time to reflect on your first year, what did this season teach you, about the team, the AAC, and also as yourself as a head coach?
Yeah, of course, coming into a new school, a new program, it's there's a list of things you want to hit and things you're a little maybe nervous about. But, I think after this season, we got to see a lot of good things. We got to see some things to work on, things we do well. A great thing I got to see was how close the team is and how, they're willing to work and work together to help achieve a goal. And then looking at the conference, I think it's a good conference that is open for a team like us to come in and make a splash.
Absolutely. One moment that really stood out for me this year was your first home match of the season. It was a 12-0 victory, a program record over Alice Lloyd. What did that match mean to you and this program, especially that early in the year?
Well, of course, getting your first win is always huge, especially with the start of a new program. The team doesn't really know you that well. They're getting used to a new system for the first time. Sometimes they've never played that style or in that way. So getting that first win is huge because it shows them what we're doing is working, especially when you win in that fashion, right? And them, having that kind of experience and having the fun that they did really energize the team and help build momentum towards what we're doing and showing them that we can play, we can go forward and put together some good results.
So we'll jump to the other side of the fence here. When a season doesn't really end the way you hope in terms of, standings, final record, growth is really your measuring stick moving forward. How did you see this team progress throughout the year, even if it always didn't show on the scoreboard?
That was a tough thing this season. I would say there was, with all the positives, there's also, a lot of drawbacks, whether it be injuries or you're not getting the results we wanted. But when you have a rough season, it's always good to look at the positives, weigh the negatives, and look where you can grow, but look at what you did great. A place we grew tremendously, and something that made me happy to see was our confidence grew throughout the year. Maybe it wasn't necessarily the scoreboard changing, but you got to see our demeanor and how we play changed and grew, and it really helped start to impact play.
Right. So, as you move now, after your first season, you're in your first off season. What are the biggest areas of emphasis as your program you continue to build this foundation in the future?
We got to continue to build on our knowledge of how we want to play, right? In the system, in what we can and can't do, as well as learn to play with each other on a deeper level. Right, understanding what each other does well, what they don't do well. That way we can play better together, whether it be sending a pass to a different foot or even maybe knowing what kind of person they are when it's time to lift them up.
So that's kind of big picture looking. We'll look, a little bit closer. We'll look just next season. What really excites you the most about the future of Bluefield women's soccer, especially in your second season coming up?
Yeah, man, we're a young team. We have 8 seniors graduating this year, but after that, there's only 3 or 4 juniors. So the team is pretty young. So to get to watch them grow in the system and grow in what we want to do and grow themselves, learn what they do well and see them improve, I'm really excited for. And to bring another good young group of girls to complement what they do has me pumped.
Awesome. Coach, thank you for sitting down with us. We really appreciate your time. Thank you for tuning in to episode 4 of the Bluefield University Coaches Show. You can check out Coach Cade and women's soccer on all their social medias, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks for watching.